No sound.
But I clicked share sound. Really, I did. But it clicked somehow. All right, here we go. Let's try that again.
What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Awakening World. I'm your host, Love Coach Scott Catamas, and we are really excited because tonight we've got some of our favorite people joining us. We've got a couple of new guests as well. Tonight's show is kind of a community show where we are highlighting artists and organizations that we love, and that includes Steve Farrell and his wonderful humanities team. Hopefully all of you already know about Humanities Team and have joined it, but if not, tonight's the night, because Humanities Team is just absolutely one of our favorite organizations. We also have bringing back another artist, a new artist that we love. Bourke is with us, and she's going to bless us with some music and also going to learn a little bit more about her healing work. And our new friend that's joining us is Josie. And Josie is going to be sharing with us about an upcoming retreat she's doing in Bali, and she's going to bless us with some dance. So we've got music, we've got dance, we've got an amazing event that Steve's putting together. But wait, there's more. We also have Andrew and Connie who are going to be with us, and they have what I believe is as wise an approach to managing our way through these chaotic, challenging times as anyone. So they're going to provide us with some wisdom. And I'm really grateful that Khadijiih is back with us to share about something very important and precious. So it's a wonderful show. We've got also another surprise guest who's going to come in tonight. But as always, we're going to start the show with our beloved house musical artist, co-pilot, man of many, 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 many themes, Mr. Omar Shah.
So, namaste and welcome everybody, and welcome all of our Facebook viewers and streaming channels and YouTubers. And it's a wild world out there, and we have a time in which we can come into presence with each other. And I'm going to play a song which will help us come into the center. It's called "Breathe Me In," and also we have, of course, the passing of Pope Francis. And though I am not a Catholic, for some reason I felt this Pope, and I know many around the world do. And so part of that is part of his passing and his shining his love down upon us now is why I have also chosen this opening song. And so without further ado, here we go. When there's nowhere left to turn, and you're feeling kind of low, slow down, and breathe me in. When the smile has left your face, and the tears roll down your cheeks, slow down, and breathe me in. When your river's running dry, and you're driven to your knees, slow down, and breathe me in. I am watching you, waiting for you to let my love into that lonely life of yours. Listen to me, and we can be together free eternally. La 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 la. La 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 when you're feeling out of touch, and you need someone to hold, slow down, and breathe me in. Slow down, and breathe me in.
give a good twinkle to our beloved brother there. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Now you've like slowed me down. So it's like usually I'm kind of hyped up and excited at the beginning of the show, but now I'm like, you put me into Mr. Rogers mode.
This is a show about presence, I think, and with all the guests that you've invited tonight, we are going there. In fact, we're already there.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. We all have such an extraordinary life journey, and Steve Farrell's journey has been amazing. He was a very successful businessman and came to the realization and the wisdom of what was really important in life, and has dedicated this chapter of his life to creating a wonderful organization called Humanity's Team. I think his initial co-pilot, if you will, his Omashar, was that wonderful author Neil Donald Walsh. And together they and others have really created something very special. And Steve's been on the show a few times. It's always a joy. So let's give a big welcome to Steve Farrell, and learn all about what Steve and Humanity's Team is up to and how we can all be involved. Welcome back, Steve.
Hey, Scott, thank you. And thank you for the generous introduction. And Omashar, that was stunning. Oh my God, what a beautiful way to start this program. Really stunning, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, my pleasure to be here, Scott. Global Peace Tribe. And as we were sharing in the green room before coming on, you're creating this program that you bring out to the world 3 times a week. It's just so stunning and wonderful and inspiring and empowering and so much more. So thank you, brother.
My pleasure. And you've put together possibly the most extraordinary library of so many of our favorite people that have been on the show over the 5 years that I've been doing it, and many others. So for anyone who's not familiar with Humanity's Team, please give them an introduction and then let us know what you're up to.
Yes, thank you. Well, as you mentioned, Humanity's Team was launched 22 years ago. Wow, isn't that something? We're a 501c3 nonprofit, and in June of 2003, we launched Humanity's Team in Wilsonville, Oregon. Neil Donald Walsh, actually, it was his vision. In fact, it was, if you read the Conversations with God books, one of those 9 Conversations with God books, it's kind of surreal, where Neil and God, of course, the books are Conversations with God, are talking about launching Humanity's Team and what it would do and how it would serve. And boy, the beautiful thing is all these years later, 22 years later, we are doing what they said we would do in the Conversations with God book 22 years ago. So, and briefly, people's eyes would sort of glaze over then in June 2003 when we talked about our focus, which was, we were then calling it Awakening the World to Oneness. And it still is awakening the world of oneness, though now we talk about it as conscious living, as creating a tipping point in conscious living. In fact, we even received a download of, and that tipping point could happen in 2040, which is 15 years from now. So if you go to the Humanity's Team website, and that's with a Y, it talks about this making conscious living pervasive, tipping point worldwide by 2040. So then the question becomes, how are you going to do that? 800 million people, 10% of the 8 billion people on the planet. How are you going to create a conscious tipping point on the planet, in 15 years? And so what we were guided to, just as you mentioned, Scott, in your introduction, was to start creating masterclasses in this whole conscious journey. And of course, we go in the opposite direction of dogma. We go in the direction of inclusive. So the science-based programs with the Greg Braden and Nassim Harriman and Bruce Lipton and Lynn McTaggart and all of these, and then the spiritual programs with these spiritual leaders that we all know. And body practices. Tonight, we've got leaders here that have these beautiful embodied practices. So we have all of these embodied practices. And then we have movies and documentaries, and we have conscious business and Ken Wilber with philosophy and all of these things. What was exciting for us is about a year and a half ago, we looked at our library, and we're still quite small. We're still our revenues are about 2 million a year, so we're fairly small, I would call it, in an industry, transformational education, where you've got some really big ones. Mind Valley, of course, would come to mind, right? About $100 million company. So we were surprised a year and a half ago when we looked at our library of all of these consciousness raising masterclasses and transformational education programs, and we realized, oh my God, our library is actually larger than anybody's in the transformational education industry. And of course, it's a streaming platform too, and it's global. About half of the streamers are outside of the US, about half of the streamers are in the United States. And yeah, just a beautiful thing of people that are here on this program or have educational programs on stream. We do Global Oneness Day. And I know we're going to talk here in a little bit about some of the things that are just around the corner. But let me stop there so I don't go too long here, Scott.
Well, no, what's the best way for people who are new to introduce themselves to your work? Is it the event that's coming up, or do you suggest going to the main website?
Yeah, so the event that's coming up, let me share. Omashar, by the way, is one of the leaders that's presenting live there you are, Omashar, it's called Sacred Awakening Live. And it's here in Colorado. It's in Fort Collins, actually. And it's just in a couple of weeks. So it's May 8 to May 10. Mother's Day is May 11, right? Sunday. So, and as we know, when we talk about conscious living or awakening oneness, boy, isn't the divine feminine, just like right in the middle of this conscious living thing, right? So we by design created this right before Mother's Day. We end Saturday at about noon so people can get out and travel back home and be with their mom or their wife who's a mother on Sunday. But yeah, it's called Sacred Awakening Live. It's 3 days. Let me share screen so you can see just this really cool program here. Let's see here. Okay, so can you see that?
Not yet.
You can?
Cannot.
Oh, you cannot. Okay, so let's see here. Share. There we go. Okay, now you'll see it, right? See it now?
Bingo.
Okay.
Karen Noe.
So Karen Noe. So she's this is a little video here at the top of the Sacred Awakening Live screen. We can copy the URL so people have it and you can come take a look. I'm going to just scroll this quickly here because you can come back and get all of the details, but take a look at these people that are part of Sacred Awakening Live. Like, wow, Greg Braden, Suzanne Giesman, Karen Noe, Michael Beckwith, Neil Donald Walsh, Jonathan and Andy Goldman, Sadhvi, Saraswati, Howard Martin with his heart math, Deborah Poneman, Stephanie James, Simran, Anita Sanchez, Cynthia James, the Reverend Sue Frederick. Here's Omashar right here. Lisa Champion, Elaine Starling, Ben Clark. So like, wow, isn't that something? Now, let me share something that's really neat here. So where it says get my tickets. Okay, I'm going to click on that. And of course, you've got live stream and you've got in person. So right here, okay, this blue hyperlink, scholarships. Okay, everybody watching, if you can come and join us in person, which would be preferred, click on the scholarships. And we're offering a limited number of $299 scholarships. And there's breakfast and there's lunch and there's an evening program on Friday night. All of that stuff is included. If you click on it and just say the Global Peace Tribe, okay, in your scholarship, we'll make sure you get one of these $299 scholarships. So, and then if you're coming in from someplace and you can't fly in, there's the live stream here too. So, and then there's just a lot more on this site. Scott, I think you have the hyperlink to this too, right? We can put it in the chat.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat.
Fantastic. And you can see here, here's the actual schedule. So it starts at noon on Thursday, May 8th, and then all day, May 9th. Suzanne Giesman, right here, take a look. So she's got this brand new documentary. She's flying in to show her documentary. It's called Wolf's Message. And then she's doing a little talk after that. And then she'll present again the next day. And as I mentioned, Greg Braden and Michael Beckwith and Neil Donald Walsh and Deborah Poneman, I'll stop sharing, and all of these people. It's phenomenal. And we're blessed because, as we know, this isn't an ordinary time right now in today's world, right? We actually just created we're a nonprofit, so we created an impact report, and our theme is navigating chaos, right? Navigating chaos, because that's kind of the world around us is kind of shaking right now. And the whole mission of this thing is to really have people, we all, sometimes the metaphor we use is we're like a divine spark, right? So everybody has a divine spark. We're all part of the omnipresence. There's a oneness. There's no separation, right, between creator and created. We all know that. So, but the idea here is to have people walk out as like a human torch, love and light, just like a human torch. So we're just ablaze, and in our homes and in our businesses and out in the world. And because, as we know, politics and economics and business and the social society are not going to take us there, right? Which is why, Scott, your program is so valuable and so important. Is just as your themes here share, it's all about the awakening now. So where we go, oh my God, I'm not just like this body. This goes to dust. I'm on an everlasting journey. I'm unbounded, right? I have unlimited potential. All these things that go with our personal awakening story. That's the key thing now. And when we talk about making conscious living pervasive worldwide by 2040, that's the thing. That's how it happens. Is it's contagious, where just like all of us that are gathered here, we get it. This is our life. And where people feel the energy of it, of you, where you're a human torch, so to speak, then it just spreads. It's contagious. So that's the whole idea here with this, where we've got people that are loving, caring, that are going to put their arms around everybody that's there. And it's not about the people on stage. We're turning it around. It's about the audience, just like here. It's about the audience, that is inspired and empowered and just on fire. So yeah, that's kind of what this Sacred Awakening Live thing is. It's in 2 weeks, just around the corner.
And again, for those of you who can't make it in person, you can join the live stream. And obviously, live streaming, we still get a lot out of it. Although if you can be in person, that's the way to go, especially since Steve's offering that generous scholarship. Steve, I want to ask you a question. Because you're in the unique position of talking with the Greg Bradens and the Michael Beckwiths and Neil and so many, what is kind of your consensus in your own reality and from what you hear from them about what's taking place right now? So many people, including I'm sure people watching the show, are wanting to make sense of the chaos and the changes. What do you perceive? What do you believe? What are you seeing?
Yeah, thank you, boy. And that's an important message. And so here is what it is that we're actually blessed right now. Now that's hard to understand. I get it, because the world is just shaking around us, but it's blessed in the sense that this is what they're saying is we have to get breakdown, right? We have to, what is here now, this whole Western world that's fame and fortune and power over and materiality and all these things, that's logic center of the mind, not wisdom center of the soul. It's more of a thinking world as opposed to a feeling world, right? And when we're awake, it all changes, that we walk through a door and it becomes a feeling world. And now we're connected in this sort of cherished space with each other, with the earth, actually with the source of all that is, also that we call the divine, and our science friends call universe and cosmos. We can call her/him whatever we want, but we need to get to break down where we don't any longer keep just charging forward with this earth as a warehouse thing, right? Because we grow up with this whole, I did, and probably most of us grew up with this whole Newtonian, we're all separate, right? Darwinian of survival of the fittest, like everybody's going to get theirs, I'm going to get mine, right? Is how we grow up, right? And then when we become awake, we realize that is like just we've got it upside down, this whole separate and go get mine. We realize, even just from the scientists now that are affirming these mystical teachings from that go back eons in time, that just like Einstein said, the greatest illusion in the world, right? It's the illusion of separation. That's Einstein's quote. Greatest scientist that ever walked the planet. And so, and of course, now quantum physics, which is down in the microscopic level, is saying it's true. It is a vibrational universe, which is what we all see, right? It's all energy. It's a vibrational universe. And science is affirming this, that there's an entanglement, that everything is affecting each other, even on different sides of the universe. There's no physical connection, right? Scientists, they're the ones that are parading this out. So once we start living into that, and we realize, oh my God, I'm the Steve Farrell as a body, it's a fiction. I'm inhabiting a body for this little lifetime that I'm in right now, but I'm not my body. I'm just inhabiting a body for this short little lifetime that I'm living right now. When we're awake, we know that. And once we start living into that everlasting person, that unbounded person, and with our daily practices, right, this is what keeps us in this place, this cherished place. So once we start living into that, then we open our heart, we come in service, all the things, Scott, that you and all of your partners and friends that come on this program demonstrate. This is what we naturally do. There's a whole, we're living into the whole. And sometimes we even say, as we live into the whole, it's holy, which sounds almost it sounds a little Christian, and we don't mean it that way because we're not trying to go in a religious direction, but it's holy in the sense that we're serving life. We're the greatest priority is to nurture life, to serve life, to affirm life, right? These are divine feminine qualities, but when we're awake, we immediately get that, and we just start living into it. It's just what you do when you're awake. And then when you do that and you're serving, even if it's in a little way, where you're just helping a neighbor or an elderly person, just in a little way, it's in a sense, it's holy, right? Because it's something bigger than you. It's the planet around you that you are connected to, that you love, that you're in service to. So, and that's the whole tipping point thing that we're talking about in 2040 is we don't need to be thinking of grandiose type things of, oh, we're going to run some big movement or be on some massive stage. Some of us will, but that's not the point. The point is when we're awake, we go within, right? Because that's where our daily practice is. That's where we're communing. And Andrew and Connie will talk about the trust frequency. So that's where the trust frequency is we're going within. And when we go within, then we're guided, and we're all guided to what we're to do. And for many of us, it's a little thing, just a son that has OCD and anxiety. My son does. My son has OCD and anxiety. Or for others, it might be an elderly person. And for others, it might be a big stage, might be a global movement. So, and they're all equally important. That's the beautiful thing about oneness is there's no preferential, there's some person is like preferred and benefited over others. No, we're all part of the one body. There's a diversity and unity. There's an equal love for everybody and everything, the earth and everything. And we don't any longer treat the earth like a warehouse, or we don't marginalize each other. We don't do those things. That's the living into the whole and the holy thing. So this is what they share is we're going through breakdown now. Breakdown so that this new way of living can emerge. And they're excited about it. You're going to hear them. Boy, they're going to be just honking their horn loud, during our program of, this is our invitation. Be inspired, feel empowered. because it's you, it's all of us. It's not, because if it were just a few of us, Scott, like even you with your program, if it were just you, how far can we go? Or just me? We can't go very anywhere. But if everybody watching gets it and goes, oh my God, it's me, then we can really go to the moon and back.
I want to read some of the comments because you're inspiring our audience. So I'm going to read some comments from our audience. Susan Bloomquist writes, we all have our own part to play, all equal and blessed in service. Erica writes, the highest good for all concerned. Thank you, Steve. Diara writes, it will be an era of reverence and devotion to all sacred life and beyond. Carol Simus writes, my word for this year is holy. And don't worry, no particular religion has a complete hold or monopoly on the word holy. We can all use the word holy, regardless of our religious or spiritual beliefs. And Reverend Jeffrey writes, there is a black hole, spelt W-H-O-L-E, in the center of everything. Eleanor Joy writes, yes, the body is our costume for this current play. When the play is over, we take a bow, remove the costume, and go home. I love that. That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. And Carol Craig pointing out that what you're talking about, Steve, is unity consciousness. And DR says, yes, the empire of empathy. So just some beautiful comments from our audience. I have another question for you, Steve. Do you believe, as some, that heaven on earth is actually already here and it's a matter of seeing it and living it?
I do. Teilhard de Chardin, right? Many of us have read his teachings. Remember, Barbara Marx Hubbard, this was the big person that inspired her and who she would talk about at length. And he talked about the omega point, right? And the omega point is, he says, the omega point is the convergence of everything, where all of humankind and all matter and all of everything converge. And there's the divinity, the divine presence comes into its full being and presence and glow and power, right? So I think that's really what we're coming into. Our scientist friends, Nassim Haramein, he likes to say that we're all sovereign to this one body, which you have to you scratch your head on that one when you first hear it, because you usually hear sovereign like with a country or something, not to a body, which is the universe or the cosmos. But he says, yeah, we're sovereign to that one body, which is the universe. And then he sounds like a preacher because he says, and so, that means that with a universe, the universe can't be without you. There's no universe without you. You are a cell in the body of the universe, and there's no universe without you. And goes, big with that. So this heaven on earth thing, yeah, this is where we really, the conscious journey has no top side, right? It's an ascending staircase, right? Even Buddha and Jesus, as I understand it, they're still climbing that staircase. Is no there. We're only climbing into we're deepening into this kingdom or heaven on earth or oneness, the joy of oneness or whatever we want to call it. It's a deepening thing. And that's the beautiful thing is see, when we're on the conscious journey, you were mentioning, Scott, was in Silicon Valley and I was in all of that whole moneyed world. And then I left it because I realized it's not here. This is like fool's gold. It's not here. And then I started my own conscious journey. And as I'm journeying into this and deepening myself, as even all of us on this program, we come into that daily practice into where we're deep inside of our metaphysical visioning or our affirmations or our gratitude or walking in nature, or our spiritual music or our art, right? There are all of these different things that we do as part of our daily practice that deepen us into this oneness, this cherished sort of connection with the divine and each other. And as we deepen into it, it is that. It is like it's like an ecstatic thing, right? And remember, Joseph Campbell was the one that used the word ecstatic. He said, where there were walls, the universe just sort of blows through, the walls just sort of come down, right? And it's an ecstatic moment. This is what term Joseph Campbell used. It is an ecstatic moment. Most of us can't hold that all day long and all night long. I don't, but I do sometimes I'll just have full days and full nights. And then in my meditation and prayer, I say, I want to help me maintain that always. I don't want to let that go. It's such a beautiful feeling. So, but it is here. And I think where we live consciously and we're on that ascending staircase, meaning that we're deepening into it with our daily practices and things and our rituals, right? We all probably have our holistic rituals and nutrition and exercise and sleep and all of these kinds of things that aid our daily practices. They help bring us into that place of that's ecstatic, where it's like where your heart is just wide open and where you just feel so loving and grateful, for everything that you see when you look out in the world.
One of the things that I really appreciate about you sharing that is that you're a busy guy. You've got a lot that you're doing. You're not just sitting in a cave meditating all day long. And so that you who are, at the head of this incredible organization, Humanities Team, that you still can have days at a time in that ecstatic state. So what are some tools or practices you could share with our audience of how to either be in that state or stay in that state, even when you're, doing 3D reality stuff?
Boy, let me share. Well, so I love that question. Actually, I just created a masterclass within Humanities Team. This is my third one. And the biggest module are all of my daily practices, where it's like an hour and I go through every single one of them. But let me not talk about that here now.
Okay.
Let me talk about something that's free that you could do right now. So,
Okay.
And I mentioned in the green room, we were talking a little bit before we came on, and yesterday was Earth Day, of course. And so we launched what we call a 21-day conscious living challenge. And it's a free program. It's a 21-day free program. And I recorded then 21 little 2-minute videos. And each of them is an exercise in this conscious living area, in this daily practice area. So things like a gratitude meditation and things like where people are coming into your life that are triggered and how to look at them compassionately. So there are 21 of these. So one of them is my favorite. And it's my favorite because it's my staple in my own set of daily practices. And it's this metaphysical thing. So it's a visioning thing, but it's metaphysical. So in this little short 2-minute practice, what we do is we reach into the future, not in a way of something we want, but of something that is here already, right? This oneness, which is this unconditional love, which is breathtaking and beyond words, it's already here, right? That's what oneness means, that there's no separation between creator and created. It's just that we're so busy cognitively doing all of these things that we're not letting it in, right? So in this exercise, we vision right into it, that love and light. We come into the fullness of that and feel it with the 8 billion people here on the planet and the earth itself, which is sacred, which is calling out for assistance right now. And we see and feel, taste and touch this life on the planet, which is in this fully healed health and well-being, joy and laughter, grace and peace in that place. So like I say, I've got a bunch of things that I do. This is a staple one that I do several times in the morning and in the evening and throughout the day. It's part of this 21-day free challenge. And we can put maybe in the chat the link. We just started it yesterday. So today is the second day on a 21-day thing. And then I'll take you into 21 of these and it's all free. So
Wow.
check that out.
Can we look at that online right now? Can
Yeah,
you
yeah.
pull
Here,
it
let me
up?
share screen. Let me share
Share
screen,
screen.
and then we can go take a look here.
Because I'm
Absolutely.
imagining several of our people would like to do that. I want to do it.
Yeah, thank you. No, it is awesome. Okay, here it is. 21-day free challenge. So just put this page up yesterday. Conscious Living Challenge. So you just enter your name and email address, and then we'll send you a video every day for 21 days. I'm not going to read all of this. We've got the hyperlink in the chat, but you can come back and check it out. And our team, this just also, so you know, I don't like to dream up all of these things. You know, I work with an amazing team. There's a whole bunch of us. This was not even my idea. So one of the leaders in humanities team came to me and said, "Hey, we should do a 21-day free challenge." And then she created all of the scripts from my different practices that I've created, and then I recorded them.
Wow.
So, because I work with a bunch of just awesome, cool, people that are totally into this whole awakening and conscious living thing.
Is there a website that we can go to so that people on Facebook and YouTube can see it, because they can't see the hyperlink in the chat?
Yeah, here, I'm going to go ahead and, okay. So I'm going to just copy this into the chat too. So I think if you go to our humanities team, I just put it in the chat. If you go to the humanities team website, I think we've got it there. And that's with a Y, humanitiesteam.org. And you could probably Google 21-day free challenge too, because when we launched this yesterday, it was something that went pretty viral. So I think you could maybe even Google it.
Okay, so I'm going right now. For those who are not able to access our chat room, all of the people watching on Facebook and such, if you go to humanitiesteam.org, and again, there's an S at the end of humanities team, or you could say humanitiesteam.org. That's where you can learn all about what's going on. And of course, you can get to the event schedule. Let's take a look and see if that is there. Look at all these live events and amazing things. There's Kristen Hoffman was on this morning, by the way. And
Yeah. Oh, she is
one of my best friends, and
she is amazing.
beloved, who's on the show all the time. So I really enjoyed seeing that she was with you this morning. I had a client at that time, so I couldn't join you. But so I'm not seeing the new 21-day here on your main.
Shoot. Yeah, we just put it up yesterday, so I was thinking we got it on the site, but I'm sure we'll get it there.
Yeah,
tomorrow. I'll make sure it goes up tomorrow. So
absolutely.
yeah, sorry about that. So I guess if you're here, you can get it in the chat.
And for those of you watching, if you go to humanitiesteam.org and then go back again tomorrow, you'll be able to find it. Or like you said, probably if you Google Humanities Team 21-Day Challenge, it'll probably come up. I'll try that when I have a little bit of a break and I can take a look. Steve, thank you so much for what you're doing. I know that many of our people will be watching on the live stream, and I really hope some of them make it out to Colorado to be with you and to be with Omashar in just a minute.
Oh my God.
You can actually get a hug from Omashar.
Absolutely. Yeah, Omashar, be good to be in a room with you again. Yeah,
I know, it'll be lovely. I actually posted it today, another advert for the event, and someone immediately came back and said, "So I can get a hug in person now, can I?" And so right there, bingo.
Okay, yeah. Hey, thanks so much for having me here, Scott, Omashar, and all of this. You're going to meet these other beautiful people who are part of tonight's program. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks. Thank you, Steve. God bless you.
Okay. God bless you. Love and peace and blessings.
He's a great guy. And I see a lot of people in the comments are really appreciating you, Steve. You know, one of the things that has evolved with this show is that we sometimes have people like Steve who've been doing this for a long time, but we also really like to highlight what I call the next generation of wisdom keepers. And recently I had the pleasure to meet someone that I brought onto the show, and she really fits that bill. She, for me, is an example of next generation of wisdom keepers. She's a very talented musical artist, but she also has a very high consciousness. Of course, it comes through in her music, but it also comes through in her healing ability. So I asked her to come back into the show so we could learn more from Hannah Bourke. Welcome back, Hannah.
Hi, Scott. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be back.
Oh, it's great to have you back. So tell us about the other side of you. We're going to hear a song a little bit sometime tonight, but before that, tell us about your healing work and your understanding of ascension and the ways that you support the ascension process.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, I was initiated as a healer through moving through tremendous darkness and what I would call like a spiritual illness from a young age. Around 12 years old, I went through a tremendous trauma and became very deeply disconnected from myself, from my soul, from the wisdom of my own body, and I really didn't understand for a long time how to get reconnected. I felt like I was moving through this world, just trying to cope, just trying to get through it. I really didn't understand the way this world was or the way it worked. And around 10 years ago, I went through the early stages of a Kundalini awakening where I had my first experience with the Divine Mother, who is the principle of the God Source energy that has initiated my awareness to awaken and to guide me through a very graceful but very intense, very like lightning shattering experience of healing and coming into consciousness. And I went through, deep trainings and initiations working with other healers and practitioners and psychic development training to really hone my gifts and abilities and to offer them in service to the healing and awakening of others and all life. And today that is what I do. I went through a massive Kundalini awakening last year where I was given the title Ascension Guide by God. And that process is one of really turning within to remember the truth of our divinity, which exists within us and within all life, that we have been systematically separated from on this planet for a long time. We've been disconnected from the wisdom of our own bodies, from the wisdom and intelligence field of the earth and nature, from really seeing and deeply being connected to one another on this planet. And so the process of ascension is really taking this deep journey within, remembering the light of our soul is the light of God within each and every one of us, and coming into consciousness to help liberate our life force. So when we go through trauma and have experiences of feeling unsafe in this world, and not being able to fully process that, those emotional energies can get stuck in our body, in our energy field, in our chakras, and it's very difficult to navigate this world with trust, with a sense of feeling safe and connected to ourselves and to nature and the divine. So that's a process that I help people through today, through my art, through music, through the healing work that I guide others through, is in facing off with their deepest traumas, these limiting beliefs, blocks, whatever it is. Every session is a very unique, deep journey, and I guide people in reconnecting to the inner wisdom within them, using the power of their intuition, which is the divine feminine principle that exists within each of us, connected to our soul and to intuition and to the divine, to the God source, to help guide and awaken our awareness as to how we can heal and come into more consciousness and begin to live a life of service in connection with all life. And it really becomes a co-creative experience at that point. And yeah, there's many of us light workers here at this time helping to evolve the paradigm, and it's a blessing. This earth has been waiting.
Absolutely. Do you find that it's common that people go through a healing crisis as a precursor to their awakening path, like you did?
You know, I do, and I also know experiences where it doesn't require crises to awaken. But for me, that was very much the case. I was born into a family where there wasn't a spiritual path or mystical awareness, and also just the medicalization of these symptoms is not very helpful, in the sense of we as a society have been disconnected from spirit in a big way, and there are spiritual principles of both, malevolent and benevolent and helpful consciousnesses that can work through the portal of our human vessel, and that is an initiation in and of itself to really understand how to work with these energies as a multidimensional healer. So for me, that was the case, and until we as a society and as a global paradigm remember the truth of our divinity and the holistic system of mind, body, and spirit, that is really the key to help us evolve our awareness and support us in this process, because there are many light workers here who are co-creating their awareness and evolved service mission with their guides and spiritual teams, and some of us have gone through tremendous darkness to remember the truth of the light of the divine within us. And for some people, it's hard to say as a generalization, everyone's path is truly unique, but for my experience, that was definitely the key to awakening and remembering.
A couple more questions. A couple of people are having trouble hearing you, so maybe if there's anything you do to get closer to your computer or turn your volume up a little bit.
Yeah, so I'll do my best to speak up a little bit more.
Great, thank you. So I would love for you to maybe share with us, because to understand the work that you do, a wonderful way to do that I've learned when I'm talking to other healers is if you'd be willing to give us an example of maybe someone who came into your world, into looking to you for support. Where were they? Where did they guide them? And where were they at the end of their process with you?
Yeah, thank you so much for this question. I have a few clients that I've been working very deeply with for years in mentoring and guiding them through the process of activating their psychic abilities, that divine feminine principle of intuition within them, to help them begin to co-create their lives with their higher selves and the divine, and really liberate themselves from this material density and begin to create with far more elevated joy and serendipity. One of my clients that came to me read my post online about sharing about the abuse that I had experienced, and was an initiation into my awakening and ultimately my agreement to learn how to heal myself so that I could be of service in this world. And I share very vulnerably about some of my experiences when it feels right and aligned. And that frequency of sharing just the vulnerability of my experiences is a resonant frequency that some people who have gone through similar abuses or traumas feel magnetized to. And I guide them through releasing these energetic imprints of trauma and shame and reconnecting the light of the God Source into these experiences through the multidimensional field of awareness so that they can let go of some of these stuck energies living within their field. And this can involve working with the Akashic Records. This involves mediumship abilities, working with our guides and ascended masters, the field of intelligence of the earth itself, soul retrieval, and really ultimately anchoring in the light of the higher self into the human vessel and into the light body to begin to move through the world from that place of embodied divinity. And one client, several of my clients now, they partner with the God Source in everything that they do. That's part of what I initiate people into, is remembering how to attune their field of awareness to Source and to create that state of coherence in the mind, body, spirit, and to tune in and truly pray and invoke the spiritual energies and support to help them partner in what they're here to create. And that looks like clients who have launched new businesses in service to the earth, who have left environments where they were experiencing, harmful work environments and launching their own projects that they can co-create with their guides and with the divine. It's unique for each person.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for taking an unnatural childhood and a traumatic start to your life and alchemizing it into medicine for others. That's a very sacred journey of life. And I respect and honor you for that.
Thank you so much. And I really love and appreciate your word choice of alchemize. That is such a deep truth and really beginning to feel again. And, we can't just psychoanalyze our way out of these traumas. They're imprinted in the body, and alchemization is really the key into deeply feeling again, opening our hearts, remembering our connection to Source and all that is. And it is a process, and it's a process of alchemy.
Beautiful. Well, knowing a little bit more about you, I think we're going to be able to appreciate why your music is so beautiful. Would you be willing to bless us with a song?
I would love to. Thank you.
While she's getting set up, I'm going to read a couple comments that are coming in. Reverend Jeffrey writes, love seeing young souls coming to do this work as light workers. And lots of appreciations coming in. All right, go ahead, Anna.
Ah.
here on earth to get it started. Light the fire, bring the water. Put your ego on the pyre. Let's light up a fire of love, bringing heaven from above. Right here, right now, on earth. Right here, right now, on earth. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah, hey, yeah. Hey ya, hey ya. World of wonder, world of love. We bring heaven from above. Through the guide of our soul, open up and let it flow. We grow like a garden, sunlight and the water, and remember the seed of love opens with a guardian, and we must defend the life. Sacred water, sacred sites, land of plenty, land of gold, land of opportunities, holds the keys, let freedom ring, let the people sing, let the river rearrange, let the people remember that God is everything and everyone, and God is love. Let the people remember that God is everything and everyone. Ooh, 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 ooh. Hey, oh, 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 oh. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Hey ya, 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 hey ya. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya.
Yes. Sending some soft, beautiful twinkles to Hannah. Such beautiful, beautiful, soulful music.
Thank you so much.
You can learn more about her work by going to her website, and it's her name, Hannah, Hannah. And although we pronounce it Bourke, it's spelled BOURKE.com. HannahBourke.com, spelled BOURKE.com. And so you can learn about her amazing healing work, her upcoming classes and events. Very much, she's a Reiki master, and as we've learned, has a real gift for supporting. And so, is there a particular demographic group that you most enjoy working with?
Most enjoy working with?
Or feel most called to work with? Maybe another way to put it.
You know, I feel called to work with people who want to deepen and align on their spiritual path and this path of ascension. That is definitely where my guidance can really crystallize to support others in this alignment and embodiment.
Beautiful. You're a blessing to our awakening world. And you know, we're going to roll right into the Global Peace Tribe announcements. And one is a lot of us will hopefully see you at the New Living Expo.
That's right.
So tell us, when are you going to be playing? The New Living Expo is coming up, not this weekend, but the following weekend.
Yes.
And when are you going to be playing there?
I will play on Friday, May 9th, from 3 to 5 p.m. So if you are at the New Living Expo this weekend on Friday, come by. I will be offering music, song medicine, as the name was given to me. And I would love to see you, would love to meet you, and I'm honored to be there. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, well, we'll see you at the expo.
Okay, see you there.
And since we're talking about the expo, this Saturday night's show, wait till you see all the extraordinary people that are going to be on the Awakening World this Saturday night. It is our annual promotion for the New Living Expo. And John Gray is going to be with us. Danyan Brinkley, old buddy Danyan, is going to come back and be with us. Sasha Stone, who is extraordinary. Kelly Sullivan, and more music with Astra Fox and Omashar and many others. So it's going to be a very special event. So make sure you're on the Awakening World this Saturday night, because it's going to be an all-star. It's going to be a long show, especially because we've got John Gray on it. John Gray could do an entire show by himself. And so could Danyan. So it's going to be very special. So again, tonight, it's all about artists that we love. We just heard a musical artist who's also clearly a healing artist. We're going to have a dancer in a little bit. Well, there's another art form, and that's leading meditation. And my absolute new favorite meditation leader is Khadijiih Mitchell. I love starting my day with her meditations. Though I must say, Khadijiih, today I started my day with a meditation by Eden, who's going to be on right after you. So we've got two amazing meditation teacher leaders with us tonight. But I also learned that Khadijiih has started something very special called Pause for Pause. And obviously, you all know I'm a big animal lover. I should bring Jasmine Bear up for this part of the show. And she's got an event happening on Saturday that I want to make sure that we all participate in, if at all possible. So welcome back to the Awakening World, Khadijiih.
Thank you, Scott. And thank you, everyone who's here tonight. And thank you for that introduction. I'm familiar with quite a few of you that are on this call. I'm certain that many of you are familiar with me, but it's just always so wonderful to be in community. And so I was on a couple of weeks ago and kind of shared a little bit about Pause Animal Wellness Sanctuary, which is an animal sanctuary and wellness center that I'm co-creating in Colorado. And this weekend, on April 26th at noon Eastern time, so 10 a.m. Mountain time, we're going to be hosting our very first fundraising event, which is a Pause for Pause meditation fundraiser. And first, I'll just say a little bit, the name Pause for Pause came from, a little download. It's what I always tell my dogs as they come in the house. I have them pause to give me their paws so we can wipe them. Because if you're familiar with Colorado, and especially in the winter and the spring, it gets kind of muddy and a little, that mud just comes right in the house. So we always pause for the paws. And my dear Tobias, who's passed from this earth, was my dog who kind of seeded this vision in my heart. And it was like so perfect when I asked, well, what would I call this? And I just can feel your angels present. I just felt, it's Pause for Pause. Okay. So ultimately what this event is it's a metaphorical groundbreaking. It's our first fundraising event that we're hosting to seed the intention for Pause Animal Wellness Sanctuary and the future of this wellness center. And at the event, it's only going to be an hour long, but during the session, we'll learn a little bit about what our vision is, where we're headed. You'll meet a couple of the individuals that are on my team that are helping me with this at this time. And then we'll do a meditation. And I'm still kind of tuning in because if you're all familiar with my meditations, they're very much channeled experiences. And I don't always know until the moment before, the day, like the day of, or the day before exactly. So it's either going to be an intention setting for pause, or we're going to be doing just sending love out to our furry animal friends, or maybe a mix of both. But somewhere in that realm, it'll be along those lines. But one thing that is for certain that it will be is it will be a heart coherence meditation, since that is at the core of every single one of my meditations, is to bring us into heart coherence so that we can synchronize our energies with each other and with the collective connected field that holds us all, so that we can really, really receive and send out to the universe. So I believe, yes, Scott has put the link in the chat. I would love for you all to join me. Even if you can't like donate at this time, that's okay. There's a way to register for $0. And if you register that way, you can join, you can get the Zoom link, and you can help us seed this intention, because the more hearts that we can have there, the better it's going to be. And then just the last final thing is we'll be hosting these online fundraisers at least once a month for the next few months. And they'll probably always have a similar flavor, but they'll take a little bit of a different, depending on what part of the, who from the team can be there, and what exactly we're doing. But always there will be a meditation, since that is, it's not only something that I hold so dear to my own life and my own healing journey, but it's also a very core foundational practice that will be practiced at Pause Animal Wellness Sanctuary. So, and you can visit our website, which is www.pause, P-A-U-S-E, sanctuary.com, to learn more about our vision, our mission. If you know somebody that's like, I don't know, angel investor, or that has resources that would love to invest in something like this, please get them in touch with us at info@pausesanctuary.com, and we can send them our awesome strategic business plan that I'm so very proud of, because I don't, we operate in 5D, 3D, so kind of trying to blend that into this business plan that's, massive, was a whole experience. And then I just glanced over at the chat, and the sanctuary will not only be for dogs, it will be dogs and cats in the beginning. And then as we grow and as we have land and as we have space, we'll start introducing other species of animals. So horses and cows specifically. And then, I love goats. I love all the animals. So it's going to be really just whatever spirit wants to bring to this space. But we will be starting with domesticated animals such as dogs and cats. And one little note on that is we have a really big vision of somehow integrating, as we partner with shelters, to help shelters become kill-free in the process, because we could really work with one shelter for the entire life of the sanctuary and maybe not really make that big of a dent in this animal welfare crisis in America and across the world. So our ultimate goal would be to help shelters get to a place where they no longer need to euthanize. And that's not actually a practice that's used just for behavior or whatnot problems, but only in dire cases where animals actually need to be relieved from the body and they can't leave on their own. So that's a really big part of our mission, is that we want to help actually make a greater impact within that space, apart from just creating a sanctuary. So I hope you'll all join us on Saturday. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or would like to learn more. And I'm so, so grateful. I'm always so grateful for everybody here, and that's part of these communities that's, really making an impact in the world with the work you do on yourselves and out in your spaces that you play. So thank you for having me here, Scott.
Thank you, Khadijiih, and thank you for this beautiful vision that you have, this life purpose that you have. It's powerful, it's profound, and it's needed. So thank you very much. And let's all support her and get her meditations. Her meditations are so powerful, and you can find them on YouTube and also on her website, which we put into the chat box.
Yeah, I'll add the YouTube link in there.
Great. Thank you, Khadijiih.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everyone.
Hannah, Khadijiih are both just wonderful examples of next generation of wisdom keepers. And I've got a special treat. We just decided to do this, I think today. One of our favorite people, she's a co-host and wonderful regular presenter on the Awakening World, has a brand new song out. And the last couple of times she's been on the show, we've really enjoyed her songs. People have raved about them. And so we get to be among the very first to hear the latest from our beloved Eden Amadora. Welcome back, Eden.
Hi, Scott. Hi, everybody. It's so great to be on the show again. And I'm just blown away how much of the unity is showing up, unity in what I'm hearing, feeling from Steve's share about just us being cells in the body of the mother, to Hannah and her divine feminine awakening. That reminded me so much of my own Kundalini experience in my 20s, that I was living a very materialistic life, going in one direction very quickly, almost off the edge of a cliff in the glamour world. And then the goddess Kali kind of slapped me really hard, as sometimes is needed to remember, oh, what's real now? What's real is the heart. So, Hannah, I was blown away by your resonant vocal transmission and just so moved. Thank you so much for sharing the power of your voice, the power of your wisdom through your song. And I see you on very large stages, just rippling. So beautiful. Thank you, sister. It's given me so much joy tonight to feel how we are awakening together. And there's such a quickening. I was just speaking with a human design expert earlier. That's why I was a little bit late for the sound check. She's a cello player I'm working with, and she's also a human design expert. And she said in 2027, the children that are going to be coming in are all going to be born with that feeling, intuitive sense, wide open, masterful from the beginning of their lives. And it's kind of a nuance in human designs. They're going to be all right arrows. So that's the feminine, in the sense that they're going to be trusting the interconnectedness, the empathy, the telepathy, the new way of being in this awakening world. We'll look back at this birth canal time, this intensity, and be blown away that things were seemingly so nutty and the outpicturing on the news and the media, when under the surface there's just so much beauty, so much joy for me to feel how our own technology, our inner technology, is coming on board. It just lights me up. And I know this has very little to do with the song, Scott, so
No, I'm loving your enthusiasm. And I had the same thought as we were dropping with Hannah. I was thinking, God, you and Hannah have such a similar history, and also a similar resonance, your connection to the divine feminine and bringing it forward in your beautiful ways. So it's always amazing, the weaving of the people that end up on the show. It's quite lovely.
I went from having a record deal, and then having a dark night of the soul, and a Kundalini awakening that landed me in the hospital for 4 days. And then just letting all these old ways of being dissolve, as you said, alchemize, transmute over. It took a good arc of years to join a divine feminine mystery school, to be initiated very, very deeply, and then to become a teacher in that lineage. So now what's really joyful for me is the synergy of all the divine feminine wisdom and the mystery and the heart opening I've experienced, and now back in the studio, but from such a different kind of orientation and consciousness, where in my 20s, it was about my ego and being famous and kind of being utilized by the record company and told what to sing and how to look. And now it's just like all for love and just full mission of service and awakening of the heart for me. So the song that actually just released yesterday is called Angel Wild. And for me, it's the juxtaposition of the inner marriage we all are heading towards with inner alchemy, which is the divine and the primal, the light and the molecules, spirit and form, and that angel wild is the fire in the heart that is saying, yes, I'm here, I'm fully embodied, here for love, and I'm in my humanity as well as my divinity. And I'm here to share through the senses, through the body, and in the pleasure, in the transmutation of all shame, that our holy, sacred sexuality is part of this awakening journey. So Angel Wild released just this week, and I told Scott, and he spontaneously said, come on the show and share it. And it's on all streaming platforms. So Scott, I don't know if you want to drop the link from Spotify or iTunes, how we can share or play it. You're muted, hun.
Go ahead and pull it from wherever you want to play it. I haven't linked it up yet.
Okay, so am I able to share screen
You
sound?
are. You got the power.
I've got the power. You know what's so funny? I also pulled up a song that when I listened to Angel Wild, I haven't released something on iTunes for, wow, I think there were some remixes in 2020, but there was a song called Breakdown from the Mother, which is the Kali song that I also want to give people because Steve spoke so many of the lyrics in this song that I was like, oh, I have to share this song tonight in the chat. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my sound. Computer sound, share. And we're going in to play Angel Wild. All right, this is a love song. This is a song about deep human love that's divine. Hear it?
Yes, we do.
All this time I have burned, all this time I have yearned, all this time I've turned lead to gold. All this time I've turned, all this time I have learned, it's not time, but love makes me whole. Strength of the mountain, warmth of the sun, my soul took a breath when I saw you, my love. I lean in and let go by your side. I lean in and let go by your side. I'll meet you in you to hold me, my heart's open wide. I lean in and let go by your side. Angel wild, I'm your angel wild, I'm your angel wild. Angel wild, I'm your angel wild, I'm your angel wild. Angel wild, I'm your angel wild, I'm your angel
Uh, oh my gosh, what a beautiful song.
Now I need to stop.
Oh, Eden, that's beautiful. Look at how our audience just got into, even Josie started dancing, and oh, what a lovely, lovely song.
Touched my heart so, so deeply. I'm gonna pop the I'm gonna pop the link in the chat for everyone so you can have that. I think it will work.
I'm going to read, but
On
while
Spotify.
you do that, I'm going to read some of the comments coming in. George writes, I just heard from Kaya Ra, author of the Sophia Code book, that she is still convening her divine feminine gatherings regularly. We've had Kaya Ra on the show. I think you were on a same show with Kaya Ra back in
Yes, 2020.
Atlantis. Yeah. Carol Craig writes, so fantastic to be hearing this beautiful music from Eden. She's a lovely lady, both inside and out. Carol, I could not put it better. You're absolutely right. The other Carol, we always have multiple Carols and multiple Susans. The other Carol writes, such good medicine here tonight. And Eleanor Joy agrees. Andrew writes, what a beautiful voice, magical. I ought to write such soothing music, truly what I needed. Thank you to all of our musicians tonight for this tender medicine. George is wondering who's singing with you. I think that's you singing.
I do some of my background vocals in the recording studio, and then I have a wonderful angel song sister named Alex Atori, who's part of the Copper Women. And she's also a creativity and vocal coach that is the reason I'm back in the recording studio. I went to a Copper Women show a couple summers ago and just bawled because I took a 10-year break to focus on teaching in the Divine Feminine Mystery School and stopped recording. And she just became this permissionary and a full catalyst to me to get back in and express my heart and soul now. And she is an amazing vocalist that harmonizes with me in studio. So you probably heard her too, George. She's amazing.
Beautiful. A few more comments. Hannah writes, so beautiful, Eden. Thank you. There's, of course, where we can find it on Spotify. Erica pointing out, yes, the illusion of separation can seem real prior to our awakening. And it's music and presenters like we're seeing tonight that are helping us with our awakening world. Christy Michaels says, beautiful, Eden. Carol Simons is willing to be Carol number 2. Omashar writes, well done, Eden. Profound, uplifting, beautifully sung and recorded, coming from the master.
Yeah, thank you, Omashar. That means a lot, brother. Thank you for the spontaneous invite, Scott. I really appreciate you. I appreciate this whole community. I know many of you well, and I wanted to invite you to a free live Beltane gathering that is coming up on May 1st. And some of you know that I honor all the turns of the wheel, the way that our ancestors did, working in harmony with earth and sun and the cycles of life. Just like the 13 moons is honoring the truth of how many full moons there are in a year. So this, Scott, it would be really awesome if you could share my site, because then if they're not already a part of my list to get the Zoom link, they can join the free live spiritual masterclass And that is on edenamadora.com under free offerings. And
I'll
yeah,
pull it up. I got it.
thanks so much.
Come to daddy. Well, I'll do it this way.
Sifting through all the many pages. So Beltane is a lesser known turn of the wheel event. We know about summer solstice and winter solstice, fall equinox, spring equinox. Beltane is the midway point between spring equinox and summer solstice. And this is a particularly hot turn of the wheel event in the sense that this is when our ancestors would have these incredible fertility fire ceremonies. So yeah, you can go ahead and share, Scott, and I'll tell you where to find it, right? Sacred sexuality, the stag king, and the high priestess. So if you go to free offerings there, scroll down to live spiritual masterclass on the nav bar and click that. Let's see if that'll open up right there. Claim your seat in the circle. On that little gold bar below, you will receive a Zoom link to join me for free. And we will do a guided meditation. We're going to learn how to work with the elements, calling in the directions the way our ancestors did. You have to prove you're not a robot. Unfortunately, you have to do the not a robot thing. I didn't know I had that little, yay. Okay. Yeah, just
So put it all in your calendars, everybody. Go ahead and click right now for it. This is going to be beautiful. And it's on Sunday, February.
Oh, sorry, the date needed to change. I'm sorry if it's the wrong date. It should be Thursday, May 1st.
Thursday, May 1st. Okay.
Right at the top. I'll let my assistant know she only changed the top. She needs to change any other dates on that.
Okay, but
Because
here it is.
we do these every quarter, every 8 times a year, the turn of the wheel. And a lot of you have been there and it's really fun. It's wonderful to have you. Thank you for coming to those events.
Eden, thank you so much for being with us tonight. It's just beautiful. And stick around because we've got some really wonderful stuff coming up.
For sure. Thank you all.
See you soon. Well, we have a new guest, and she was referred to me by Nancy Montez, who I've worked with for many years. She's helped, Nancy is who we work with when we're doing Bhakti Fest. There is no Bhakti Fest this year, but what we do get from Nancy is Josie. I want to welcome, and I love, Josie, how you jumped right in and started dancing to Eden's beautiful song. And it was lovely to get a little sneak peek of your beautiful dance.
Thank you, Scott. I couldn't resist. Because of the dance practices I've been doing for many years, I've learned that when my body feels the music, to express it. And so a beautiful uplifting song like Eden's is like a ticket to happiness for me.
Beautiful. I always enjoy meeting new people. I'm going to share just a little bit. And once again, there's those words, divine feminine. Steve talked about it. Hannah talked about it. Eden, Khadijiih, it's all. And the very first sentence in her bio is Josie Keys is a facilitator of divine feminine embodiment and igniter of the flame of Mary Magdalene. Now, what's amazing, Joni, I think I've done 3 shows at least with Eden on Mary Magdalene. Eden leads groups to France to walk the path of Mary Magdalene. So interesting that the spontaneity of all of this.
Yeah, it's
a little bit.
It's
Go
very
ahead.
typical of the way the goddess moves in synchronicities and unexpected movements. I feel very honored to be alongside 2 other priestesses, at least tonight. Both Hannah and Eden carry a beautiful signature of divinity, and here I get to be priestessing alongside them. It's a great honor, actually. So
now you're an astrologer, a painter, and you really, and obviously a dancer, and these are all your creative expressions inspired specifically from the divine feminine, or does it go beyond that?
Yeah, well, a little background might be interesting for everybody
Yeah.
because I've come to the divine feminine now, but the route was circuitous. I'm Australian. I grew up in an atheist family, and they were loving, but they were very mental. And there was a lot of mocking of spiritual people because they were considered fools. so, so I had to sort of outgrow all of that. And I started to empower myself as a young woman in the 80s. And back then, there wasn't a lot of languaging or articulation around the feminine or the divine feminine. I didn't even know what I was missing, actually. So I decided to empower myself by trying to be like a man, believe it or not. And I went to school and I studied photography, and then I studied cinematography, and I came out of film school wanting to be a cinematographer. And I came to Hollywood to do that. And when I got here, I sort of took a segue that way. Like I started working in the business, and I could feel the sort of lack of spiritual juice in everything I worked on. And I used to bring a lot of passion to whatever I was working on. But if you're passionately working on a commercial about chewing gum, it's kind of a waste. So somewhere in my first few years here, I woke up one morning and I had been doing yoga 3 times a week for a few years. And I woke up one morning and thought, wait a minute, why am I trying to be like a man? Because I was traipsing around with the camera on my back, with my red hair sort of tucked into, a baseball cap, hiding my beauty because I wanted to be as good as a man. And it didn't work because in my world, it just ended up being pointless. Like I know for some women, that's a good thing. But for me, I started feeling like I was dying. And I woke up one day and decided, nope, I'm going to go in the direction of the feminine. And I didn't know what that looked like. But pretty soon after that, somebody from my Kundalini yoga class said, hey, you need to come to my belly dance class. And so back in 1999, I went to a belly dancing class in a tiny apartment in the valley. And every week I went to this belly dancing class where we called the goddess into our bodies every week in order to dance. And at first I couldn't do it. And my teacher said, wow, you're really amazing from the waist up. But from the waist down, there's no action. And it took me 2 years of embracing the emotions that come from the belly that are the difficult ones. They're the anger and the shame and the fear and the overeating and the disgust and all those things. And I had to allow those energies space to move. And the tantric part of the dance that I do is you let those energies move up your body or through your system, and they become the frequency that you then dance with. So for some of the really awake people in the audience, this is going to be obvious. But back in the late 90s when I was doing it, it was an absolute revelation. And I didn't realize what I was doing was starting to do a temple dance. And I'm sure Eden's talked about this in previous shows. But when you access your own emotions in your body and you dance with them, you become a temple yourself. You become a human temple, and your frequency naturally raises because there's so much allowing of who you are. And when that allowing comes from the belly, comes from the second chakra, it bubbles up as joy and creativity and comes out the arms as fun and beauty and loving and healing. And for me, this was an absolute revelation coming from the family that I came from. It was like night and day. So my spiritual life started, and I went to see every guru I could find in town. I spent tons of money on workshops. Every weekend I was doing something. And eventually the dance sort of manifested in me, I suppose. And many years later, in 2012, I'd been dancing for that long, not just belly dance, but 5 rhythms dance too. And it sort of erupted in a, here we go again, a Kundalini awakening. And that really changed me and helped me understand what I thought might be going on in the world. So to tie that back to what we were talking about before, it gave me the sense that I could raise my own frequency. And as I raised my own frequency, what was happening out here became less hurtful and less difficult. And it becomes grist for the mill, so to speak. So when I hear about everybody today being anxious and suffering and afraid of what's happening, I feel like we were trained for this time, and we knew on some level this was going to happen. And if we can take this connection to the earth and to the spirit and run that energy through our body, then we're staying in presence and in divinity. Therefore, what happens out here, so I see the news and all the strife, I see that as happening this way. So if I disconnect from this heart-hurting energy that I get from the news, and instead I connect to nature, Goddess, Divine Mother, Spirit, Divine Father, coming together in the heart, then I can walk through whatever the world gives me with presence and hopefully be a healing influence.
I'm going to go to gallery view and just, because I'm seeing Eden and everyone twinkling you. Which one on the Awakening World were twinklers?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, twinklers. I had a whole thing I was going to say, and I am not reading it. I'm just speaking from what's here.
It's clear. It's your clear channel for spirit to flow through, Josie, and I really appreciate your vulnerability. I was really touched. I mean, everything you said, but I was really touched when you're talking about having to get in touch with your belly and really, reorienting your relationship to your belly, which is something I've been working on. So that's probably why I'm not belly dancing. I'm not doing it through belly dance, but that's beautiful. And your vulnerability is really lovely.
Oh, well, thank you. And just to honor the teachers that have gone before us that opened the doors, and we're opening the doors for the Hannahs of the world to walk through, and with their beautiful articulation of what's needed to sort of bring it to us.
Yeah.
I see the generational flow of the women, and it really moves me. And it's not to leave men out. It's not about that. It's about really embodying the feminine as much as we can, because the earth needs it so much. All the humans need it so deeply. And as we grow and radiate that energy ourselves, it's an invitation to the masculine to transform. And to go back to some of the tantric teachings I've experienced, one of the most profound was from a teacher who said, we fell in consciousness 2,000 years ago. So I don't know if you agree with that or not, but he said, men, whenever it was, back when consciousness was higher, men were in their hearts and women were in their third eyes. And what happened during the fall of consciousness is we came down. So women came down to their hearts and men came down to their second chakras. And you can kind of see that on the earth at the moment, right?
I think it happened earlier than 2,000 years ago, though. But whenever it happened, that sounds good.
So the men with second chakra, sexuality, porn, all of that stuff, and women getting heartbroken all the time by various things that happen to them. So if you think about that, if we women can raise that beautiful, loving energy up to the seeing center, and if men, then we're an invitation to the man so that his second chakra, naturally that energy moves up to his heart. And a man who's in his heart can never go to war,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Yeah.
I know you're going to do a dance, but before you do that, I want to take people to one of your two websites that we're going to promote tonight. You have a spring tantric belly dance workshop coming up. Please tell us about that.
So it's a kind of my signature offering, and it's 2.5 to 3 hours long. And I take a small group of women through a practice, through a kind of belly dance workout for about 45 minutes, where we work it out and get sweaty and activate the womb center. And then we do some tantric breathing to create an altered state. And then we do a witness dance together that I kind of guide. And it's sounds really simple, but it's actually very profound what happens. And you can come as a beginner or you can come as an advanced person. And the healing container that's created for the witness dance is extraordinary. You can let go all sorts of old abuses and traumas in that circle.
There's no doubt that your teaching is profound, no doubt. It's on Saturday, May 10th, and it's in the Los Angeles area.
Yeah, it's in Venice.
Yeah, it's in Venice. Lincoln Boulevard, got to be Venice.
Yeah.
So for anybody who can get down to Los Angeles, that would be a really extraordinary experience, definitely.
Yeah, check it out.
We'll take a look at what you're doing in Costa Rica after your dance. Would you be willing to do a dance for us?
Yep. And this is a little Costa Rica behind me. So this is an invitation to everybody watching. If you want to get up and move your body around, I'm just going to show you a super, super basic move before I start the music. And then if you want to, you can dance along with me, because I never set out to be a performer. I set out to be a teacher. So this is about taking you guys on a little mini journey. So hopefully you can hear me okay. Michelle told me I need to shout a little bit. So, and the men can do this too, okay? Women are going to work on their womb center and men are going to work on their hara. So anybody who's standing up, just stand with your feet hip width apart, soften your knees, and then turn that tailbone down towards the ground. Turning it down towards the ground so that you get a little tuck in this area. And then I want you to just bend your knees a little bit and move your body up and down. And then find a comfortable spot and then circle your hips. And the conscious part of this is you want to compress a little bit your second chakra. So we're pumping the second chakra, activating pleasure, shakti, fun. And the idea is that you can transform wherever you're at. You can transform anxiety, fear, depression. I did. I've been in black depressions multiple times in my life. And you can convert that energy. You're not stuck with it. You can convert it into something higher. Putting your hands on your hips. Good. See if you can go the other way. Again, getting that little compression. And if you know about Mula Bandha, if you've done yoga, you want to pull in those inner muscles as you come around and let them go. Using your body as a tool for ascension. All right. So I usually pray before each dance. So I'm going to do a little prayer that everybody present lets in the divine feminine frequency on a cellular level, activating their body of light. Okay. All right, so now basically we listen and have fun for 3 minutes. Here we go. Oops, but we got to start at the beginning. Okay. Scott, you can dance in your chair. You can copy me, or you can just play whatever you want to do.
Wow.
Turn me on the music.
Have a good gallery view. Mute her until she gets it turned off. Let's all twinkle, Josie. What a beautiful, beautiful, and I love watching you get up and dance. Oh my gosh, what a lovely show we're having tonight. Josie, I need you to unmute because I did mute you there for a moment.
Oh, thank you for all the twinkles. That's
Wow.
but the point is how you feel. It's not about how I look. The idea is the feminine beauty is an inspiration, and the energy of the sweetness moves people.
Absolutely.
'Cause
And I
how
loved watching different generations all moving and dancing. That is really quite beautiful. Now, there's an opportunity for people to go deep with you, and I do want to let them know about that. If you go to the website tantricalchemy.com/wildbloom, tantricalchemy.com/wildbloom, And there's a women's sacred retreat happening in Costa Rica, June 7th to the 13th, all about a return to your deep feminine nature. And obviously there's Josie and on the left, and gorgeous Costa Rica, and also that was behind her as her backdrop. Josie, what do you want us to know about this retreat as I kind of scan through your website a little bit?
I've set it up as an affordable, simple refuge for women, because we take on a lot, especially if we're sensitive. And this is about doing a dance workshop with me every day for 5 days, doing a voice activation workshop with one of my Costa Rican girlfriends, and us singing and dancing by the river, with the river, and having a full moon dance ritual. And the place that it's at is called Home Farm, which is an exquisite natural portal. So this is about either healing from grief or loss, rediscovering your beauty, or just going all the way to the divine. So I've been teaching for 13 years now. So there's a lot to share if needed, or there's nothing to share if nature heals you.
It sounds wonderful. And, you know, Josie, I hadn't met you before, but I trust Nancy, and I'm so grateful to have you on the show. You're bringing just beautiful qualities, and I hope you'll come back and be with us again soon.
Yes, and just a special treat for everybody here. If you email me at info@tantricalchemy.com, you get $250 off per person for the retreat. So
wow. Okay, so email her at info@tantricalchemy.com.
Yeah.
info@tantricalchemy.com for $250 discount on her Costa Rica women's retreat. I wish I was a woman who could go to Costa Rica right
now. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Josie. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, normally at 8 o'clock, we're ending the show. We're wrapping it up. Omar is doing his closing song, but no, tonight is a special night because we've got still a very, very important presentation. You know, a lot of us are feeling inspired, but a lot of us are going through a lot of grief, a lot of confusion. Obviously, out there in the 3D matrix world, it can be pretty crazy. And because I'm in the awareness of a lot of people that are struggling and suffering and feeling chaotic and challenged, I really wanted to bring Connie and Andrew back on the show because, you know, I've done over 600 shows. I've seen a lot of presenters, and I love all of them in a way, but the wisdom that Connie and Andrew have about trust and what they call the trust frequency is a very brilliant, clear understanding. And I wanted to make sure that they shared it with you. And they're going to share it in a unique way. So some of you have heard this before, but they have some new moves that they're gonna do in this dance of souls, this dance of tantric awakening, this dance of trust, whatever you want to call it. But I invite you to really drop in and take in the wisdom of our beloved friends, Connie and Andrew. Welcome, you two.
What a treat to be back with you, Scott. Just the fact that you grokked the trust frequency, you really got it, because it's really something to get, because it's really a huge leap. It's the last leap. We believe it's the last leap in consciousness, in vibration, that's going to take us into that world that Steve Farrell was talking about, that all these beautiful women here have been showing us and speaking of this process of getting there. And so we just like to bring this construct on the nature of the universe that's from indigenous cosmology, quantum science, Eastern and Western mysticism, and plain common sense, we say, because it's who we are, it's what we know. It's just a matter of understanding how the universe works. How is everything love? How is God love when we see all these things as not love? And our construct on the nature of the universe resolves that very important paradox so that we can know that everything happens for us, not to us in our lives. Did you want to say something, Scott?
Yeah, well, what I just wanted to jump in, I don't think I've ever even told you this, or if I did, you might not remember, but I remember the moment that I grokked the trust frequency. I was driving from the Bay Area down to Southern California, and I was on the Grapevine, on Highway 5, the Grapevine that goes up. And it was on the Grapevine, and you were on some other show. It wasn't my show, it was somebody else on one of the other shows. And I was listening to you as I was driving on the Grapevine, and you went through the 10 principles, and that's when I grokked it. So I will either always think of you on the Grapevine or always think of the Grapevine when we're talking about the trust frequency. And they're forever merged. So I just wanted to share that and turn it back over to the two of you.
So you heard it on the grapevine, Scott.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, so we just wanted to say to everyone that there is a secret purpose to history. Okay, so we're in the midst of history unfolding in quite bizarre ways, actually, the antithesis of everything we know to be true, and that is, in fact, happening. But it's hard to stay in trust of that in the light of this shadow pieces of our belief system coming up and into our face and into our reality. So we just want to say to just trust the loving universe, that everything serves that lower vibration that we've been in for millennia. Humanity, we've been responding to a lower vibration, and we've done a great job. We've made these systems and behaviors to get through and thrive and get to this point where now there's a higher frequency available to us, and we have more information, the oneness we're just going to get, that we are one. And in this higher frequency, there's more abundance than we can fathom. So peace on earth becomes a given. There's no one to fight with, there's nothing to fight over, and peace on earth. So for us, this everything that's happening is happening to serve that evolutionary process, but it's also serving, very obviously, serving this lower frequency as well. So we just want to give you trust in the process of going to that place Steve expressed so beautifully. And everyone else who's been on the show, this whole show has been just such a high vibration. So we can go through a few principles.
I'd like to say a word about that.
Yeah, we'll go through a few of the principles, and Andrew's going to lead a meditation to really take us there and to close. But what would you like to add?
Yeah, it won't really be a meditation. It'll be more of a shamanic journey, if you like. A place that is a place of endless safety, a place of security, a place just in the womb of the mother of love. That's where we're going, because this man on your screen here is very much in touch with his divine feminine. And I've got this beautiful divine feminine partner.
Who's very much in touch with her divine masculine. So we're a perfect balance.
And I wanted to say something quickly about our backdrop. Does anybody recognize the butterfly nebula? So I want to make a silly suggestion, but it's a good metaphor, I think. We are currently emerging from the caterpillar nebula. Now, I'm not sure there's a caterpillar nebula out there, but it's a good idea. If there isn't one, there should be one. We can arrange that. But as we go through, think of the greedy caterpillar that stripped every last leaf off that beautiful tree and has wound itself into this cocoon and it's melting into this mush. To me, that's a metaphor for what's going on in the world today. We're seeing the mushy, messy, smelly, ew. That's just hard to handle. And it brings about fear. It brings about terrible feelings of lack of safety, of insecurity. And yet to know that we are headed for the beautiful butterfly at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, and we just came from Easter, from the resurrection, and just to know and trust that we are resurrecting into our divine being. And so why don't we just go through a few of our principles, our 10 assumptions. So we say, change your assumptions and the world changes with you. It's our core assumptions about the nature of the universe. And the indigenous people have another worldview, have another level of connectivity to all that is through the sacredness and oneness of all life. They're honoring that. And the mystics of all time have been in touch with this. But it's time now that we each walk into it in absolute trust of a conscious, loving universe. And so,
yeah. So what we offer, and Connie, you could pull the book up of it and just hold it up. So this is our book. It's called The Trust Frequency. I think it's reversed there. We'd have to flip our screen to do that. Trust us. It's called The Trust Frequency, and it has a subtitle, and the subtitle is 10 Assumptions for a New Paradigm. So we've all heard this idea of, oh, we need a new paradigm, or we're moving into a new paradigm. So what's a paradigm? A paradigm is simply a set of assumptions. What's an assumption? Something we know to be true, we take to be true without question. That's an assumption. We assume it to be true. It's a fact in our reality. Now, clearly, there's a lot of people out there with different assumptions, different realities. And do we have the option of upgrading those assumptions? Because, in fact, they are our operating system. And the reason humanity is such a mess right now is it's running on an updated, erroneous operating system. I'm the science guy of the family. I was raised at the university level to believe that this glorious, amazing, pulsing, living, loving universe is nothing but a lifeless machine. It's miraculous. It contains life, but it's not alive, doesn't know I exist. And God, there's no such thing as God. Come on, that's old superstitious stuff. If you enter that reality and stay strictly in that reality, which an awful lot of people do, you've set yourself up, or you've been set up by your culture for precisely the reality we're looking out at. This thing that's very frightening right now, because there is an end game there that is potentially terrifying. So how do we get beyond that? And the answer is in that word, trust. Trust. It's an acronym. Truly rely upon Spirit's timing. Oh, so trust the timing, trust the process, trust the fact that right now things look very uncertain. They're changing in ways I personally would not have anticipated 6 months ago. I had no idea. This whole thing that's going on was not even a possibility. It was somebody's nightmare, but it certainly wasn't mine. So, assumptions. So we came up with 10 assumptions. Now, you could come up with your own assumptions. You could come up with 11 or 113 assumptions. That's not important. What is important is that it is possible for us humans to adopt a completely different set of fundamental beliefs, a different worldview from the one that we were programmed into, if you like, by our culture. Now, that doesn't apply to everybody, but it applies to an awful lot of people who, especially those who took the scientific reductionist Newtonian path. which I did, but it didn't get me. It couldn't hang on to me. I burst free of that as a young man.
And it also put us on the fast track out of that lower frequency, because the Industrial Revolution and all the earth, treating the earth as just a resource, all those things, this whole thing just took us, bam, right into seeing it doesn't work to be out of balance with universal law and the human heart and the human spirit and all of creation. So
the first
everything serves
the
coming of peace on earth.
Yeah, so trust that.
Trust that.
And let's have a quick look at some of these assumptions. We don't have to do all 10, but we can.
Well, we also used some words as our definitions. We have some definitions of
we do
words.
use terminology in a different way than anybody else. So when we talk about love, it has a capital L. And it's not about how I feel about Connie or about my granddaughter or holding hands. It's not that kind of love. It's the love that is the universe. It's the primordial energy of the universe. It is that which creates and sustains everything and ultimately destroys and recycles it, because that's what all of this energy does. It's the same thing as the E, which stands for energy, in the famous equation, E equals mc squared. L, capital L, equals mc squared, same thing. Want to know how much love there is in the universe? That's the equation where you can calculate it. Sound crazy? Absolutely. And it's true. So that's love is the most important one that we just try finding that definition in a dictionary. It doesn't exist. Of course it doesn't, but you'll find it in that book over there.
Yes, and if love is everything, how can, as I said, how can it be all these things we see as not love? Well, the nature of that love is unconditional. Unconditional love. Well, we have a different definition of unconditional love. Okay? It loves us so much, it gives us everything we ask for.
But
okay?
Careful what you ask for. You might just get it.
Yeah. And what are our requests? Okay? This is key. It's physics. It's pure, unadulterated physics. It's vibration. Okay? Our requests come through our vibration. They determine our frequency, and the laws in the different frequencies are different. Okay, we've been in a lower frequency, and all the information we've had is scarcity, fear, separation. Okay, it's been a process because we're here for all of creation to transmute those energies of fear, separation, and scarcity, because we are all of creation. It's a holographic fractal universe. So we affect everything we do, say, think, and feel affects all of creation. And the rest of creation is sitting out there rooting for us. Okay, kids, hey, you're almost there. You know, go, go, go. And the ETs, I don't know, Scott often has the shows on Contact. The ETs are waiting for us. And it has to do with the feminine, with the heart, with emotions, with kindness. Okay, so this is the human heart, all those things that sit in the human heart. The rest of creation, literally, our space brothers and sisters are just sitting out there, you know, just saying, oh, okay, are they going to do this thing? Are they going to have a nuclear war? I don't think so. They're going to stop it. Anyway, there's that. And so we resolve that paradox of love, not love, with this understanding that this love is unconditional. It gives us, it has to, because we're giving it signals with our vibration. So we have 7, actually now 8.
One more definition.
Okay.
Okay. This is pure Connie Baxter Marlowe. Okay. Would you please give me your definition of humanity?
Yeah. Okay. So here's humanity. Humanity is a collection of divine, autonomous, sovereign beings. And now this is key. This is foundational. Sovereign beings who have chosen
free will
to incarnate on earth on the soul's journey to wholeness, self-acceptance, alignment with our divinity and our purpose. So in that act of free will, we gave an overarching act of free will to give permission to the loving universe to show us our light and our shadow. Okay, the parts of ourselves we love and the parts of ourselves we came on earth to learn to love. Okay, those parts we've got hiding behind our mask and our defense mechanisms and all those secrets we're holding, even though we've shown up to look like we're cool and we're smart and we did well in school, but inside we know that we never should have gotten here. We're not okay. We're actually pretty stupid, or whatever our stuff is that triggers us when the shadow comes to show its face to us in the form of other people and experiences, repeated experiences. So this helps us know that everything happens for us, not to us. We get out of victim perpetrator. It's huge. Letting go of victim perpetrator, moving from victim to beloved with gratitude for everything that has happened in our lives, regardless.
Even the worst things,
Even the
things
worst.
that look like a nightmare, they all serve us. It's extraordinary, but it's true. And what it does, it's a different attitude. It's a completely different attitude to these things. Circumstance.
Loves us more than we do. Okay?
So
because circumstance is divine.
Is what guides us. So we think we're on one path going one way, and suddenly we get slammed by a pickup truck that comes out of a side road, and wham, we're in a ditch on the other side. And the driver of the pickup truck is our next spouse. Just to take a silly but possible scenario there is always a reason for everything that occurs. It's a conscious, loving universe. And that, by the way, is the first assumption. We do not live in a cold, dead, mechanical universe. We live in a conscious, loving universe. There's nothing but love. There's only love.
And that love is unconditional. It gives us everything we ask for. What are our requests? Our consciousness. Okay, so we have these 8 aspects of consciousness. We just upped it from 7 to 8.
Wait a minute.
Jude
this
Currivan
7 A's is now what?
is 8 A's.
Oh.
Jude Currivan, one of the top players in the leading edge science, she loves us and shows up on panels for us and stuff. But she added an 8th one. So here are the 7 aspects of our consciousness that determine our frequency. Okay, it's vibration, it's physics. The laws in the different frequencies are different. We can transform our own individual reality and the collective reality by shifting our 8 A's. Okay, they all begin with the letter A, and there's more, but this is what we bring to the party. Okay, and here it is in one sentence, and I'll put the sentence in the chat after we're done.
So this is a takeaway, just to, and see if you can't just grab it from the chat.
Okay, with expanded, and I listen to the adjectives that go with the word, with expanded awareness and accurate assumptions, we choose our attitude, consciously direct our attention, align with our highest inner promptings, attune to the universal energies, take committed action, and allow the loving universe to manifest beyond our wildest dreams, because we've shifted frequencies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the laws in the different, it's a whole new ball game. That's what Steve was talking about. You know, he expressed it so beautifully. It's this whole new ball game. It's a completely different reality. There's more abundance than we can fathom. Jesus was a way shower into this frequency with the miracles. Those miracles aren't miracles in a higher frequency. The loaves and fishes, there's more abundance than we can fathom. The miracles of healing, they're already starting to happen. And he just told us what it's like. He showed us what it's like in that frequency. And John Lennon in the song Imagine, Okay. Imagine no possessions. In the native way, you don't own anything. You give it away. You're a caretaker of it. If somebody likes my necklace, oh, okay, I guess it's your turn. Here it is. Because I don't own it. I'm a caretaker of it. So just listen to those words of that song and know that John was tapped into something that is describing where we're going very soon. It's very imminent.
So seriously, friends, what does this have to do with the current world situation that has so many of us frightened, even paralyzed, even just feeling disempowered? We simply don't know what to do. Once we can get this actually very simple thing, and we can remember because it's our original state, if we can simply take that one inhalation that absorbs everything Connie and I have just said, or everything that's in the Trust Frequency book, the basic fundamentals, and just personally, this is what I do. If I find myself getting anxious, I simply do a single deep in-breath, just whoa, and I'm back. It can be that quick. It takes practice, but you can be back in balance, back in trust. And the minute you do that, somehow, because it's a different vibration, it's a different frequency, it's a different reality, the laws are different, all of a sudden, things that looked impossible are just opening up and working perfectly. Surprise, surprise. It's the way the universe is designed. How could it be anything else if the universe is love with a capital L and nothing but love with a capital L? So how can we apply this in our lives or to our relationships, for example?
Well, we have an online course that for it to apply it to relationships with ourselves, others, and the universe. Because once we understand that we gave this overarching act of free will to come, and that everyone we actually magnetize behaviors from others to show us those parts of ourselves we don't love yet. So that's we'll put a link in the chat to our course, but
which is on Humanity's Team.
It's on Humanity's Team, but also on our
Yeah.
website.
Mhm.
But it's just key to move from victim to beloved, to go beyond right, wrong, good, evil, victim, perpetrator in our whole relationship with each other and the universe. And that's that field that Rumi talks about, out beyond right doing and wrongdoing. Everyone know that quote. And he says, out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. Okay? That's where we're going. And there's just clues to it everywhere. If you look at the world from that lens, for me, absolutely everything. See, for me, this is absolute. Absolutely everything serves the coming of peace on earth and heaven on earth. It has to. That's all there is in my world. And when you look at it that way, you get completely different answers as to what's going on and what everything that's happening, what it's serving and what it's all about. So we just want to gift you those aspects of our work, this construct, and we're just offering them. We're not saying they're absolutely true. We're saying if you take them as absolutely true,
everything changes.
Everything changes. And that action piece, you have to walk it.
Yeah.
Can't just think it, can't just give affirmations. One has to walk it, trust enough to walk it.
Anybody ever felt like a victim of circumstance? Guess what? You become a beneficiary of circumstance. Circumstance has your back, has my back, has Connie's back, has our collective backs. Circumstances are here to guide us on the path.
So, do you want to take us on a little journey?
Okay.
That'd be cool.
All right. So
Yeah,
One
then
thing
we
in
can
our,
have some
in
Q&A.
our early discussions with Scott about the reason for bringing the trust frequency at this moment in time is that an awful lot of people are feeling helpless, hopeless. There's a great deal of fear. There's a great deal of uncertainty. I can only imagine what those Venezuelans feel, those men who were just ripped out of the country and put in this high security prison. And their families. And just to take one of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of examples of what has happened in the last 3 months.
But ultimately, their
beyond-
soul had to have chosen this.
Well,
Okay, it's huge, kids, you know, but ultimately,
but let's
in this construct,
I wanted to bring a suggestion as a way to deal with this, a way to handle it, because this is big. This is very disturbing. It's very frightening. And there's a way to handle it. And the two words that you already know are the trust frequency. But I'd like to take us on a little, maybe 5 minutes. Scott, we've got time for that? 5, 6 minutes, somewhere in there, not long.
Not long, no longer than 6.
Okay, got it. Fine, Scott, thank you. So we have all, every single one of us has had an experience in our lives of utter, complete, perfect safety, security, where all of our needs were provided, where nothing could possibly trouble us. And there's not one human who has not had that experience. And we had that experience for the first 9 months of our lives. Here I was, this little wiggly fetus in my mother's womb in Coventry, England, back in the early 1940s. How did I feel? I felt safe. I felt completely secure. Everything I needed, I was fed. Everything was taken care of. We've all had that experience. Now let's just expand that. So we come down the birth canal, and this phenomenon occurs that I call the holy roller coaster. It's a song that Omashar and I are actually working on to some degree together. Thanks, Omashar. That worked out very well, by the way. The holy roller coaster, life, everything is sacred. But it's a roller coaster. It's up and down and round, and at times it's frightening. I don't go on roller coasters. It's too scary for me, okay? I'm just not brave enough. But that roller coaster of life is what teaches us, it trains us, and let's just do that. We're in this beautiful place. So if you would just close your eyes, and I'll just paint a picture here, a little adventure or a big adventure. Here we are in the deep, dark, warm silence. The only sound is the sound of a beating heart, our mother's heart, at the moment of conception. And 9 months later, here we come down the slippery, slidey chute into this wild and crazy world. And here we are trying to figure it out. And parts of it are really fun and really enjoyable and really delightful. And some of them are just plain scary, and some are difficult. And here we are in this world. And yet we have not left the womb of our mother. Even I am 81 years old. I have not left the womb of my mother. I have that memory deep in my subconscious, but I also am perfectly protected in the womb of Mother Earth, of Mother Gaia. It's almost as though I'm sustained in this warm, beautiful ocean where I'm completely safe, I'm floating, and you can expand that experience of safety, of security, all the way out to the very furthest limits of the universe, which consists entirely of love. So it doesn't matter where you are located within that, this is vast, inconceivably vast thing that we call the universe, that Connie and I like to call the loving universe, the loving, living universe. Wherever we are, whenever that may be, whenever that moment is, when you realize it, we are safely held and contained within the only power in the entire universe. And we are sustained. We are here. And no matter what occurs, we are eternally safe and secure. That's a big statement, and I believed it to be completely true. And the entire spiritual path is about remembering that. The path I took was the Sufi path, and there's a practice called, it translates, it's called the zikr, but it translates in English as simply as remembering who we are, where we are, what the circumstance is right now, anytime you take that inhalation, that breath. So please, let's just take a great, big, beautiful in-breath all together. Are you ready? And hold it. And gently let it go. Here we are, my friends, safe and sound in the womb of Divine Mother. Thank you.
Muted, Scott.
Gosh, I just gave the winning lottery numbers. They came through and now I've lost them. So oh well. No, what I wanted to do is just really acknowledge the beauty of Connie and Andrew and their wisdom. And let's all in our own way reflect on what does the trust frequency mean to us? How can we apply this wisdom based on our own direct experience? So here are a couple of ways we can learn more from Connie and Andrew. So this is the website, thetrustfrequency.net. And tell us about the Dance of Souls.
Well, we mentioned it, that it's coming into alignment, into total love of ourselves, and showing us that everything happens for us, not to us, that the experiences in our lives have come to us because we've given permission to the universe to bring those experiences to us, to show us those parts of ourselves we don't love, so we can bring them into the light and bring what we promised to bring to the party, which is us, all of us, not just the parts that we think that our culture wants to see, our mom, our dad, or whoever wants to see. It was all of us. All of creation is awaiting that gift that we promised to bring to the world. So that's the essence of the Dance of Souls.
Beautiful. And then the other website I want people to know about is they've been working, as long as I've known them, on this wonderful pair of films, In Search of the Future 1 and now In Search of the Future 2, where they've traveled the world interviewing fascinating and wonderful people, many of whom you've seen on The Awakening World. And so I encourage all of you, check out what they're doing by going to insearchofthefuturemovie.com. insearchofthefuturemovie.com. And that's where you're going to meet many of our favorite beloveds. Patrick McCollum, who was just on the show last week, David Gershon, all these, Saraswati, all of our friends.
Scott included.
Yeah, Scott's in there.
And Jasmine Bear is in
Jasmine Bear's in there. Yep, the wisest of all.
That's right. That's right. So Connie and Andrew, thank you so much. If there's any burning questions, raise your hand. I have to admit, I am famished. I haven't had dinner yet, and I'm hungry. But this has been such an extraordinary show. So if anybody has a burning question or thought to share, you've got 3, 2, 1, about that much time to raise your hand. And if nobody raises their hand, that means I get to bring up Hannah, because I thought it would be really cool to look at 3 of our presenters. I recognize there's about a 50-year age difference. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that cool? Isn't that wonderful? All the different generations. And then somewhere in the middle, we'll put Josie. So Eden had to go to dinner. I'm envious about that. But I want to thank all of our presenters and Steve, of course. So thank you, Connie, Andrew, Hannah, Josie. Thank you so much.
We are heading for California on Sunday, so we'll be seeing at least some of you.
Yes, we'll come to the New Life.
It's
Expo?
Ralph Abraham's Memorial in Santa Cruz on the 3rd.
We'll
Okay.
be there.
And then you're going to be at the New Living Expo.
Living, yeah.
We shall see.
We're-
We will see you at the New Living Expo.
But one thing I wanted to say, and that is that we have a online ebook that's a synopsis of the Trust Frequency book.
And the price is right.
And it's free. And Maureen put it in the chat. It's at thetrustfrequency.net/portal. That's where it's accessible for free without having to put in your email or anything. So
Oh, thank you. Definitely
portal.
put that back in the chat box one more time for our friends. And thank you so much, Connie and Andrew. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
We're going to close this beautiful show with our beloved Omashar, who gets us off to the best start and then finishes us up. And there he is. Hello, my dear friend.
Can you get that out of his face?
What? You'll never walk this way again. Lay down all your guards. Your loving hearts will lead the way. The door is open. The wonderful and the new is waiting patiently. Take the step and you will see all you've been dreaming. And now is the time we've been waiting for so long. And I've been holding you through all ages, knowing I'd be with you once again. You'll never be alone again. Please take my hand in yours. I love you just the way you are. You're my creation. The wonderful and the new is waiting patiently. And take the step and you will see all you've been dreaming. And now is the time we've been waiting for so long. 'Cause I've been holding you through all ages, knowing I'd be with you once again. You'll never walk this way again. Lay down all your guards. Your loving hearts will lead the way. The door is open. And now is the time we've been waiting for so long. I've been holding you through all ages, knowing I'd be with you once again. Ba-ba-dum-ba-da-da.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody who put an ingredient into the soup tonight. Wow, I'm so full. Hungry, but full.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for all of you. I love watching everybody dancing and moving and just, it was a beautiful, beautiful show. And my God, Saturday night, we've got so many, I mean, we've got so many great speakers. I'm a little bit overwhelmed at how I'm going to work out the agenda. So definitely make sure you join us on Saturday night. And between now and then, let's all practice the trust frequency in our own ways. Let's all practice what we've learned. And let's remember that we can make any moment sacred or holy, since we used that word earlier today, by seeing the divine in all. Let's see the divinity. Let's do that. I sure see the divinity in each and every one of you. Good night, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you Saturday night.